We're going to do a little bit more with bearings today, starting with example 2 here. 2 has those primary and secondary directions, the way that we've been using them from last class. 3, when we get there, has the bearings from north. So we're just going to practice drawing some pictures with us. This is page 56 in our notebooks. Okay. On page 56, we're starting with question 2. So, what we're going to start with, because I'm trying to do a little bit less of me just draw the picture. This is part 1 of drawing your picture. The bearing from A to B is 30 degrees east of south. So take a minute. On your paper, draw what you think that looks like. Just that part. Nothing else. All right, so if we draw the bearing from A to B is 30 degrees east of south, where do we put A, first off? In the middle. Which quadrant is B in? Fourth quadrant. B is over here somewhere. A to B is 30 degrees east of south. Now, for the $1 million question, where do we put the 30 degrees? Okay, by the y-axis. It's between south and the line we just drew. So this is 30 degrees. Now, this one does have a little bit of a twist on it because it kind of has a part 2. It then tells us the bearing from B to C is 65 degrees east of north. Uh-oh. What's happening? We're changing directions. Okay, remember how we just talked about that on the homework a couple minutes ago? That your direction is a matter of perspective. So if I would like to draw a bearing from B to C, my suggestion to you is give yourself a little compass at B. Because when we change directions at B, that is where you're thinking from. So according to B's little compass system, which little quadrant in that system should we head into if we're going 65 degrees east of north? Yeah, the first quadrant there. So to go from B to C, I'm going to head off this direction. And I'm going to say C is over here somewhere. Now, where do I put that 65-degree angle? It's inside, but it's this little piece right here. It is not the entire interior angle, is it? No. Because that bearing is from north toward the east. It doesn't give me both pieces, right? Now, what does the question want to know? How far is it from A to C? Okay, so there's my completed triangle. So, this feels like a very incomplete triangle. Let's fill in some of the blanks. We are told a couple things about speed and time. Our car is traveling 60 miles per hour. It needs an hour and a half to go from A to B. What do I do with that? 60 times 1.5 tells me from A to B is how many miles? 90. Then we are told we need 2 hours to go from B to C. How many miles is that? 120. All right, so I now have 2 sides, but what don't I have? An entire inside angle. So here's where we have to be a little bit smart about this. We got that 65 on the inside. We really haven't used the 30 yet, have we?
No.
Do you think we can use that?
No.
Not at all?
No.
What can I do?
If you say 90 minus 30, that means the remaining part is 60. And then if you say,
Are you saying this remaining part?
no,
Or this remaining part?
the
Up here? I would actually not go up there. That you could. This is 60, yes. But then I have an inside outside. I'm going to come down here. Why did I draw this right here? I mean, this is making a right angle. This is a compass, right? So could I complete that? Sure. If that's 30, okay, what else do I know?
The bottom one's 60.
This one here is 90. This one here is 60. How does this help me?
Oh, so the top one makes 30.
If that's 60, this is 30. Now, this angle right here and this angle right here are also known as something from geometry called alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles, when you have two parallel lines, are the same. Now, if we don't remember those, this was kind of our roundabout way of getting there, okay? Now, if this is 30 degrees, what does that tell me about that entire angle?
It's 95.
95. All right. Have we put together enough pieces to solve for our missing side?
Well,
Now see if you can set yourself up a law of cosines from here to solve for side B. Okay, take a minute and solve for side B. All right, check your answer on question 2 before we set up question 3 together. Okay, now this is another one. Once we've set up several of these, the turning part of this will become a little bit more normal. But you do actually have to practice a couple of them. Okay, so we're starting question 3, setting up the same way. Our plane flies 1.5 hours at 125 miles per hour on a bearing of 38 degrees. This is the first in a while that we have not had a primary and secondary direction. So let's review. What does just a straight up bearing mean? Angle from north. Okay, so if it's a bearing of 38 degrees, I've rotated 38 degrees clockwise from north. Where do we head to begin with? First quadrant.
Not west, buddy. It reads
Clockwise.
I didn't count it clockwise.
Okay. Where would I put that 38 degrees? In the top half of that or the bottom half? Top half, because it's how much I rotated from north. I'm going to ignore the speeds for a minute. We're going to do our turning and our angles, and then we'll come back to the speeds. Then the plane turns. So what do we put at the end of this line? A little compass, because we're about to turn.
Wait, do you have to go east, northeast?
Yes, because a bearing is 38 degrees clockwise.
Okay.
So it must go that way, yes. All right, what is our second bearing?
134.
134, all right, again from north. So this means I start at north and I rotate around clockwise. How far is 134 degrees? Well, it's through this entire quadrant, right? Because that's 90.
Halfway through that.
And some of the next one, yes?
Yes.
So our plane then heads off this direction. I'm not going to draw an angle. Okay, goes that direction. I'm going to put a point down here. Now, where is that 134 degrees? It's where I just drew this arc. Okay, so this is 134 from here to here.
All right.
We would like to know, how far is the plane from its starting point? So we are finding this side. Just like the last one, we've got our triangle on the picture, but we have not a lot of things labeled on it. So let's deal with the speeds and the sides first. First, they tell me it has flown 1.5 hours at 125 miles an hour. What does that mean? How far have we gone in the first leg? 187.5. Multiply 1.5 times 125. Second, it travels 1.2 hours at the same speed. So how far has it gone on the second leg? 150 even. Now, just like the last one, the issue is I don't have a whole lot on angles on the inside. So what can we figure out here?
You can say 180 minus 134.
So 180 minus 134 will give me that little piece, right? Why do I know that? Because it's a straight line. So 134 from here to here, then another additional how many degrees? 46 to get to 180? Yep. All right, so that's that little piece. What else do I need to know? I can go alternate interior with that 38, or if you don't like alternate interior, you can complete this triangle and say if that's 38, this one is 42. No, 52. I was going 180. And then that makes this one 38. All right, so alternate interior angles or complete the triangle. What does that make that entire inside angle? 84. Do we now have enough information to solve for the third side? Sure do. What do we have to use? Law of cosines. All right, check that answer, and then on our last question that we're going to set up together. Last question we're going to set up together. We're going to flip backwards a page. We are not setting up example 4. You guys, we're going to do question 6 on page 54. 6 on 54. All right. Question 6 on 54 will be our last setup question together, and then we will be done. You are sailing a boat. You need to get to an island that is 50 miles to the west of your current location. I like to start myself in the middle if I'm about to be headed some other direction. So here's my boat. Therefore, my island is which direction, left or right? West, which is left. All right. Here's my island. It is told that it is 50 miles to the west, so I can label that. Now, I'd love to go straight to that island, but there are rough seas along the route. Therefore, we must travel and take a path at a bearing of 245 degrees. If it just says that and no primary, secondary, where do we measure from? North. All right, so think for a moment. If it is 245 degrees, I start at north. I rotate. Here to here is how many degrees? 90. I need more. Here to here is another 90. That's 180. Therefore, which quadrant must we be in? 3, somewhere. 245 from north sends me off this direction-ish. All right, I've sent myself down here. I am now here. First, how far away are you from the island? What does that do for me?
Right there.
Completes my triangle. Okay, we would like to know that side. This is our x. Second question, at what bearing must you now sail to get to the island? Well, before I look at the bearing, let's just talk about how would you figure out how far? I'm not going to solve any of this. I'm just going to help you get started. What else do we need to know to help ourselves here?
You find the angle of the right
Yeah, I need that angle. How do I find that angle?
270 minus 240.
I could say 270 minus 245. I had someone else in an earlier class say, well, if that's 245 and I know it's 180 to the y-axis, that makes this piece 65, and then I could find the inside piece. That's fine. Problem solving. Are you still right?
Yes.
Yes. Did it take a little longer to get there? Maybe. Okay. 270 minus 245 tells me this inside angle is how many degrees? 25 degrees. It also told me I had sailed along that bearing of 245 for how many miles? 30. Do I currently have enough information to find x? Yes. I am not going to do that at this moment in time. Okay? This is on your homework tonight. I have set it up for you. You may solve for yourself. If I wanted to know the bearing, because this is usually where we run ourselves into a little bit of trouble. First off, where am I right now? Purple dot. I'm on the purple dot. Therefore, I must think from the perspective of the purple dot. Here is my compass. Okay, there is my compass. Right now, I know my bearing should be between which two directions on my compass? North and west. I just got to figure out that angle, right? Because on that little compass, north is straight up, west is to the left, yes? Now, what is the issue with the angle on that?
You don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have it, and beyond that, I don't need that whole angle in the bottom of the triangle, do I? All right, so you know how on the other two we did a little bit of a complete the other triangle situation? That might help you right here if I just did that. If I continue that compass straight up, I may assume that it makes right angles. And you could use some of the information you have to just find that angle. Okay?
How do you find that?
I don't know. I'm going to let you figure that out.
Ah,
We're going to have X, so that'll help. Now, might you need to find this whole angle? Yeah, you might need that whole angle to subtract and find some pieces. We will see. Okay? I'm going to let you solve. When you go to your homework for this, number one, we've set this one up for you, so I'd copy your picture over to help yourself solve. Number two, please look at the notes. As I said, if you look at the right triangle problem, some of your homework is basic right triangle problems, like a ladder leaning against a wall and so on, because we're practicing a few of those. If you look at that homework, it's like 4 pages long. If you do all 4 pages, you'll be cursing me at home. Please look at the 5 questions that you have to do on it. 5. It is listed in the notes on Canvas if you choose to do everything. I'm so sorry.
I have
Okay?
a question.